from defending the heavyweight title 3 times, to Daniel Cormier claiming he won't give Jon Jones an easy time. Let's find out why fighters really fear Stipe Miocic. To get the ball rolling, let me tell you a story about one of the most fearsome fighters to ever grace the octagon. With a professional MMA record of 20 wins and 4 losses, this Croatian-American powerhouse has been making opponents tremble in their boots since he first stepped into the cage. And don't forget about his impressive rankings in the UFC, ranked number 8 in the pound-for-pound rankings, and number 2 in the heavyweight rankings. It's clear that Stipe is not to be messed with.
Big shot! He's out! Stipe Miocic remains the heavyweight champion!
So, if you ever find yourself standing across the octagon from Stipe Miocic, just remember, it's never too late to tap out. Trust me, your body will thank you. The guy's a straight-up beast. Miocic has been making waves in the UFC since he made his debut back in 2011. Despite experiencing some setbacks early in his career, Stipe proved that if he wanted to, he could be undefeatable. He went on a 3-fight win streak before losing to Junior Dos Santos, but he didn't let that defeat get him down. In fact, he bounced back and avenged his loss to Dos Santos with a first-round TKO victory at UFC 211. But that was just the beginning. He went on to defend his UFC heavyweight championship an astonishing 3 times.
Miocic is down! Wow! Miocic is getting the belt back! Wow!
And while I'm on that, I hope you remember that he broke the record for the most consecutive UFC heavyweight title defenses in the process. Talk about making history. Sure, Stipe had to taste a little defeat when he lost his belt to Daniel Cormier at UFC 226, but he didn't let that defeat define him. In fact, he came back stronger than ever and reclaimed his title in a rematch against Cormier at UFC 241. And then there was the trilogy fight at UFC 252. Where he and Cormier went head-to-head once again for the UFC Heavyweight Championship. And boy, it was a fight for the ages. Stipe proved that he was the better fighter, outworking and outclassing Cormier to win the bout via unanimous decision. It's no wonder that other fighters fear Stipe. With his incredible skill set, dedicated work ethic, and unwavering determination, he's as invincible as he can be. What's more, it looks like Daniel Cormier isn't giving Jon Jones an easy pass when it comes to facing Stipe Miocic, after watching Jones make quick work of Cyril Gane to claim the vacant heavyweight title at UFC 285. Cormier is confident that Miocic's NCAA Division I wrestling background will give Jones a run for his money. And you know what? He's probably right. Stipe Miocic is no joke. What really sets Stipe apart from the rest of the pack is his wrestling prowess. As a former NCAA Division I wrestler, Stipe has the kind of grappling skills that can make even the most seasoned fighters break a sweat. And when you consider that Jones is coming off a victory over Gane, who didn't have much of a wrestling game to speak of, you have to wonder if he's really prepared for what Stipe has in store. If I were Jon Jones, I'd be a little scared of Stipe Miocic. I mean, this guy is a 2-time champion for a reason, and he's not going to go down without a fight. But hey, maybe Jones is up for the challenge. Maybe he's ready to take on one of the best heavyweights in the game and show the world what he's made of. Or maybe he's going to regret ever stepping into the octagon with Stipe. Who knows? The heavyweight division of UFC has always been a battleground for the toughest of the tough, and Stipe Miocic is no exception. Stipe's background in NCAA Division I wrestling gives him a strong advantage when it comes to defending takedowns. And here's a little reminder that he has already achieved what Jones is currently striving for: a long reign as the UFC heavyweight champion. Miocic defended his title 3 times, breaking the division's record for consecutive title defenses. Despite his brilliant accomplishments, Miocic remains one of the less hyped champions in the UFC. He doesn't make a public spectacle of himself like some of his fellow fighters, and he doesn't need to. His performances in the octagon speak for themselves. Miocic is a true hero, both inside and outside of the UFC, and it's refreshing to see someone who doesn't need to rely on drama to sell his fights. Maybe it is time for the world world to start hyping him up, because when it comes to being the baddest man on the planet, Miocic is the real deal. Sure, he's not your typical UFC champion. Despite being questioned about his commitment to the sport, Miocic has repeatedly proved his critics wrong. After a tough loss to Junior Dos Santos, he declared to his coach that he could beat him, and 3 years later he did just that, in front of 45,000 Brazilian fans who wanted nothing more than to see him lose. Even when fighting in his own backyard, Miocic remained unshakable and held the same unflappable expression on his face. But what makes Miocic truly fearsome is his adaptability. Against Daniel Cormier, a self-proclaimed king of the grind, Miocic showed that he could adjust his game plan and find a way to win. And win he did, with a persistent left hook to the body that completely unraveled Cormier in just a matter of minutes. Stipe's record speaks for itself. 5 out of 6 heavyweight title fights ended in victory for him, with 4 of them coming by way of stoppage. In a sport full of hype and bravado, Stipe Miocic stands out as a humble, hard-working champion who lets his skills do the talking, and that's what makes him so dangerous. He's not trying to sell himself, he's just trying to win. At first glance, Stipe may not look like the typical heavyweight champion. He doesn't have the chiseled physique of some of his opponents, but what he lacks in aesthetics, he more than makes up for in sheer power and technical prowess. What sets Stipe apart from other heavyweights is his multifaceted approach to the game. He doesn't rely solely on his punching power, although he certainly has plenty of it. He's also a technician with an array of weapons at his disposal. From his powerful jab to his booming right cross, Stipe can strike from all angles and with incredible accuracy. And when it comes to grappling, he's equally impressive. With a strong wrestling background, he can take his opponents down with ease and unleash a mean ground and pound game. But perhaps what makes fighters fear Stipe the most is his tactical approach to the game. He's a master strategist, adapting his game plan to each opponent he faces. In his rematch against Junior Dos Santos, for example, he countered his opponent's body jab with a thunderous right. This left him completely befuddled. As for Hunt and Ngannou, Stipe blended feints, jabs, and leg kicks to turn both punchers completely passive before picking them apart with precision strikes. In the end, it's clear why fighters fear Stipe. He's a true champion with a deep well of technical skill, power, and strategic intelligence. When it comes to fighting, it's not just about strength and skill in the ring. It's also about the time and effort put into training outside of the ring. That's where Stipe Miocic's strength and conditioning coach, Bobby Khalil, comes in. Khalil has come up with a full-body workout routine that focuses on getting Miocic for all of his fights, all while prioritizing injury prevention. It is a delicate balance, but it's one that has clearly paid off for Miocic. For Miocic, the workout is all about endurance and stability, but it's not just about the physical gains. Stipe's ultimate training goal is to get 1% better every day. That's a wrap on why fighters really fear Stipe Miocic. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.